Okay, nice to meet you, Nicolas. So can I call you Nicolas? Nikki, Nicolas.
Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, Nico,
so where
Nicholas,
do you live
both
now?
are fine. Yes.
Where do you live?
I live in New York, so this is where
where
I'm
in New York?
recording from.
Manhattan?
Yes, on the Upper West Side.
How long have you been living in New York?
I've been in New York on and off for the past 11 years.
And before that?
Before that, I was based in Europe. So I grew up in Budapest and then studied in a couple places. And then I moved to the States in 2013.
So you're born in Budapest?
I'm born in Tbilisi in Georgia, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Georgia.
Yes, I'm Georgian. But we moved to Budapest when I was quite young. So I grew up there and then finished school there. I did my undergraduate in a couple different cities around Europe and then moved to New York to pursue my master's at Juilliard and then my doctorate.
Oh, I was in Juilliard long time ago.
Yes. Akiko mentioned, in our correspondence.
So in Juilliard, who was your main teacher?
I studied with Emmanuel Ax, Veda Kaplinsky, and Mati Rekalio as well. Yes, so
I see. Your voice is very attractive, very nice. You can even be a singer, even.
I don't know about singing, but thank you for the compliment. I have recorded a couple audio series, so it was good to understand how to use the voice for speaking.
Oh, so this audio was like you explaining about the pieces, that kind of stuff?
Yes, I did a series on how to listen to music on Idagio. It's a music streaming app and platform. And yes, I did a lot of this during the pandemic. And even today, I often present concerts that discuss how can we listen to the music, how can we develop our concentration and focus. So I do some kind of outreach events and special events sometimes.
Wow, I think it's a wonderful idea because your voice is very calm and it's very convincing also. And not pushy, but very calm. So really, I like your voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
When I hear about Georgia, always remind me of Ivo Pogorenik's teacher. She was from Georgia, right? Oh, she was
That's correct.
Right?
No, she was Georgian.
Georgia, right? Alice something.
Yeah. Yes.
And all the surname end with like Z-E?
Yes. Either like Dze, which is spelled D-Z-E, or Shvili. So these are the two most common kind of endings, like Bunyatishvili, Batiashvili. Many musicians also that have one of these endings, Virsaladze, Toradze. It follows a pattern.
Toradze, there was a pianist, Toradze.
Yes.
What was his first name?
Alexander Toradze. Yeah.
It's him, right? It's him, Toradze.
Yes. And also I mentioned Eliso Virsaladze, whom I studied with, and I believe she's performed in Japan quite frequently. So also an incredible pianist.
In the Georgian language is the written like a lot of heart, like very cute.
Yes, exactly.
Very
cute, very, very curvy, very wavy. Yeah. No straight lines. It's always
it
circular.
even looks like a drawing. Even more artistic than Russian, but like very roundy heart.
Yes.
So your first language is Georgian.
Yes, my first language is Georgian, and I have a couple languages in my portfolio.
And of course, you speak Hungarian, right?
Yes.
In English and
German.
French?
And we mentioned Georgian, so some French and Italian as well.
Yes. And of course, Russian you speak.
Russian I don't speak.
You don't speak.
Because I grew up in Budapest, not in Tbilisi. Also, already my generation in Georgia does not really speak Russian, or not everyone does. It's more common for older generations, especially who grew up either during Soviet times or shortly after, to have studied Russian in school, but it's been replaced by English mostly in schools. But in any case, I grew up in Hungary, so Russian wasn't really on my radar.
Yeah, and actually, I listened to most of your record and most of the YouTube performance sent by the magazine editor. I really liked how you performed the Etude of Chopin, Opus 10, number 10. The A-flat
major.
Yes,
that's a quite old recording. Yeah, yes.
I thought that was very attractive because you played with such a simplicity, but very musical and it has its air, and I really was attracted to that etude.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a special feeling for that etude, maybe. Very simple,
it's definitely one of my favorite Chopin etudes, and it's one of the older videos on my YouTube channel. So it's probably one of the few that have been recorded maybe some 8 to 10 years ago. But yes, it's still one of my favorite Chopin etudes, not one I've really performed since then. But yes, thank you for listening. It's certainly a very beautiful piece that explores so many different ways of approaching articulation and color and voicing at the piano. So it's really a gem.
Yeah, that's why your tonality and every time how you change the tonality and the touch, it was really beautiful, and not many people, they just play it, but yours is something different. And I read, oh wow, simple but with such a musicality and different colors.
I appreciate it. Yes, I think that this kind of approach to writing an etude, which was really a study not only in kind of a technical question, but really a study in tone color and articulation and even phrasing, is something that very much affected my own approach to writing piano etudes later on.
Voices, very lot of counterpoint and lot of voices, every time. That's why when you're playing the Godowsky etude of the Chopin.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, that was a interesting choice because I played that. I think the video you saw was from Honens, this competition that I did now 6 years ago, which really began my international career. And the thing is that for that round, we were allowed to play an encore. And the repertoire of the round itself was difficult, but not very virtuosic. The choices that I made, we had a free choice. I played Bach's Sixth Partita. Then I played the Schumann Humoresque. And then I played three of my own etudes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So these were, of course, all very difficult pieces, but I felt that I needed to add, if we could play an encore, something very virtuosic. And I really thought, what is the most difficult piece I can play that is 3 minutes long? And the piece I came up with was this Godowsky arrangement of the Chopin double thirds etude, where he puts the double thirds into the left hand and then adds a lot of double thirds in the right hand. So this was the hardest piece I could find for such a short amount of time.
Of course.
And that's what I played. And it was definitely a kind of stunt. It was an athletic display. Because of course there are lots of questions as to the musical value of these pieces. I think they're very interesting. I think it's very interesting how Godowsky adds counterpoint and different ideas onto these pieces. But again, the Chopin etudes are perfect as they are. So I think certainly some of these Godowsky arrangements are more successful than others. But this was really primarily a way to show how I could navigate the instrument.
Yeah. I have the music of this Godowsky, but I once started reading, but it was so difficult, so I just didn't. But how long did it take you to read this third?
Oh, it wasn't too long. It was a very spontaneous choice to perform this. it definitely wasn't something I had been preparing. Actually, that was the first time I ever performed it. That video was the first time I ever played.
It's great.
Yeah. It's the first time I ever performed that piece. And yes, it was very spontaneous, but yes, apparently it made an impression on the jury. So overall, I think it was a good decision.
And I liked also that your transcription of this Adagietto of the Rachmaninoff symphony.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, Godowsky was an inspiration there for one of the later sections in the Adagio where the main theme comes back. And the problem, of course, at the piano is when you are making an arrangement of instrumentals or symphonic music, ensemble music, where you will have the repetition of a theme by a different instrument. So in this case, of course, it's orchestrated differently when the theme comes back after the central climax. On the piano, it might end up simply being in the same register and sounding very much like a repetition. So the first half of the arrangement is closer to Rachmaninoff's original, though there's quite a bit of embellishment, especially in the central climactic section. But when the main theme comes back, that's when I bring Godowsky in with a lot of these arabesques and a lot of this kind of counterpoint. I really try to avoid unnecessary fluff. All of the notes come from Rachmaninoff's texture. It's just a different way of reimagining this texture on the piano. So it was definitely a lot of fun to make this arrangement, which was actually the first arrangement I ever made. And it was really interesting to get into Rachmaninoff's mindset. I really had to imagine somehow, what would this piece be like if Rachmaninoff were writing it originally for the piano? I really didn't want to write a transcription, which was a piano reduction of the orchestral texture. I wanted to reimagine this music, these polyphonic lines, these harmonies, these textures on the piano. So it was a really interesting process that brought me much closer to Rachmaninoff, made me think about and understand his approach to keyboard texture and compositional style in a much deeper way. So it was a very special learning experience.
And also your composition, I listened to all of your composition. My favorite one was the Georgia's song a la Rachmaninoff.
Yes, the Memories of Rachmaninoff's Georgian song.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
This is actually the score on my piano right now.
Oh, so, can I just see it from the near?
Yes, we can. I will just bring this here. So actually, my publishers are Japanese. So my music is published by a wonderful Japanese publisher called Muse Press. And so that they publish a lot of wonderful piano music and a lot of wonderful original pieces and arrangements. And we have had a collaboration now for several years. So this is actually my latest release on Muse Press. So actually, if I will open the title page, you will see that it is actually printed in English and Japanese. I have
to get this. I will buy it so I can.
Yes. So it's in English and Japanese, and everything in the score, all my comments and text is in English and Japanese actually.
So how come you chose a publisher, Japanese publisher? Maybe they listened to your music and they approached you.
Yes. So I had a tour in Japan in 2019. I think that might have been the first time that I would have gotten on the radar of the publishers. And then actually one of the colleagues and associates of the publishing house was in London at my Wigmore Hall recital in 2020. This was just a couple of weeks before the pandemic hit. This was in February of 2020. And we began a conversation about collaborating on the publication of my music. I had been playing my etudes at Wigmore Hall, also in Japan. And actually, there's one piece of mine that has a Japanese inspiration as well. It's based on Kojo Notsuki. So yes, it's called Moon Refracted, also published by Muse Press. And so that's when we started the conversation, and we felt that our vision and approach and tastes aligned very much. And I really love the work that Muse Press does and their integrity. And, they really have some fantastic composers on their roster that I very much admire. So yes, it's such a pleasure to work with them. And one more thing that ties me to Japan, which is a country that I love very much.
Oh, I'm happy they have discovered you immediately. And it starts with like a one note, repeat note, right? The music has a lot of same notes, repeated notes.
Yes, in the Memories of Rachmaninoff's Georgian Song.
Yes.
So this is one of the pieces that uses what I call a kind of refracted texture, where it's almost like, when you send a beam of light through a crystal, and then the crystal will separate the white light into the different colors. It will separate everything. So I often have kind of melodic fragments or themes that are spread in different registers. You just have one note here or there in different octaves, and then you will often have a kind of central note, a bass note at a time, could be an E or a B, that you hear also in different registers, which serves as the kind of like foundation. It's like the paper on which you write other things. So it's an interesting approach that I have used in a couple pieces, including the one that you just mentioned, Memories of Rachmaninoff's Georgian Song, which I again wrote as part of this Rachmaninoff project and came out on my latest disc, which celebrated the 150th birthday, last year. So it had the Adagio that you mentioned, Memories, the first sonata by Rachmaninoff, which is, of course, far less frequently performed than the second one, and a couple other pieces.
Yeah, and when I listened to it, I thought, oh, maybe it suits for for movie, very interesting movie. I like to hear your music. I thought it will be wonderful to hear this music, the theme song of a new movie, example.
It's very atmospheric. Yes, it could work. I have written a couple film scores, and I have worked with directors occasionally. And yes, so I think this kind of visual element in creating a kind of set and atmosphere has definitely informed how I approach purely instrumental music or concert music that does not have any kind of visual aspect. I've definitely been influenced by my work in film, even when it comes to writing solo piano music.
Yeah, and when you compose, do you compose with the piano in front of you, or just everything in your head and just you start writing?
I do not compose with the piano in front of me. What I usually do is I'm walking back and forth in my room or away from an instrument and just imagining sounds and textures and ideas. And I come up with the vision of the piece, the kind of big picture really in my head.
Yeah.
If it's a piano etude, for example, that requires a lot of care when it comes to making sure that the textures and the writing and the passage work is comfortable for the hand and it's pianistic, then of course there's a lot of work at the piano. Of course, my piano music is very difficult. It's virtuosic, such as the etudes, kind of inspired by Ligeti very much, and it's a lot of notes and it's fast, but I always try to ensure that it's pianistic and satisfying and comfortable. I certainly don't like to make the performers who play my music suffer unnecessarily in any way when learning this music. So I do think it's really important as a composer to make sure that what we write fits the instrument and the idiom and doesn't feel like a struggle for the performer.
Is your family a musician, your parents?
My parents are not musicians.
Oh.
My mother played as a child. She was very musical, so I think that's where the kind of musical talent comes from. But they are not musicians. They are very much in the academic world. My mother's a political scientist. My father's a constitutional lawyer. So I think that also influenced my interest in a wide variety of different fields that has, this interest has, of course, then influenced how I approach being a musician with a kind of very broad perspective. But yes, so my passion for these other fields has definitely been an integral part of my profile as an artist.
So your parents, they live in Budapest now or in Georgia?
They live in Berlin. They live in
now
Berlin at the moment. Yes.
I
Yes.
see. Because
Yes. Oh, yeah.
that every time they lived in Budapest, Berlin, because of their job, or they like to live there?
Because of work. Because of work.
I
Because of
see.
work,
How
yes.
wonderful. And do you have brother or sister?
I'm an only child.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
must miss you, and you must miss them too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But thankfully, a lot of my career is in Europe. I'd say about half of my performing activities are in Europe. Of course, in the States, I teach as well at two places. So my teaching keeps me here quite a bit.
Where do you teach, in two places?
Well, I teach at Juilliard now, actually.
Oh, really? Wow.
I'm teaching there, and I also teach at the Graduate Center. This is the City University of New York.
Mm-hmm.
So
which room is your in Juilliard? Which room? Which floor?
Well, I jump back and forth because I also assist for Veda Kaplinsky and Manny Axe, and I also teach performance classes. But usually I use 217.
Oh, I see.
On the weekends. So that's usually the space that I use. But my teaching schedule is very irregular because I'm traveling a lot and I'm away a lot. So usually it will be in 217.
Oh, I see. In the practice room, are they like before, fourth and fifth floor?
Mostly on the fourth floor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you visited Juilliard recently. They had a big renovation.
No, I haven't.
So this was before my time. I heard that in the middle of the building, there was a kind of pavilion and a kind of little outdoor space as well. Mm-hmm. And that's gone. So everything is filled up now. Yes. So there is no courtyard or anything inside. So it's much more efficient for the space. And so I think almost all of the practice rooms now are on the fourth floor, and the fifth floor is mostly teaching studios.
Oh, really?
And of course the library. Now a beautiful orchestral studio as well. So a really wonderful performing space as well. And we often have the juries on the fifth floor now.
Because every time, I remember I was using the practice room, and I can't, if I leave more than 15 minutes, it's taken, right? So everybody has to eat so quickly in the cafeteria, or just in the room, like sandwiches. It was like, just always, watching and making sure your practice room is safe.
Yes, it was the same when I was a student. And then shortly after, they brought in a kind of electronic card system where you swipe and you reserve space. So it's much calmer now. It's much less stressful. But after my first year of fighting over practice rooms, actually in the second year, I got a piano, this is behind me, the same one, in my dorm room, so that I could just practice there and not have to fight over pianos, and have much more peace in my working process. So that was definitely an upgrade.
Yes. I understood. Because so what's your hobby?
Oh, well, I wish I had more time for hobbies, but at the moment, balancing performing with a lot of different repertoire, many concerti that I'm carrying, and the big rotation with teaching, with composing, is already a lot. And I always look for more minutes in the day. Unfortunately, I cannot find more minutes in the day. So it is always a matter of very effective time management. But of course, I love to read. And a lot of the spare time that I might have, I will spend socially with my friends, whom I try to see as often as I can, because, of course, being a pianist is a very solitary profession. You are alone, working within your own space, not only alone physically, in the practice room, but also you're very much within your own imagination, both as a pianist and as a composer. So it is good to get out of your own head as much as possible.
So for the future, are you like half composing, half pianist, the balance between the composition and your performance? Is it like 50-50?
It used to be 50-50. But now, the more I perform, of course, with a very busy travel and touring schedule, it's more on the performing side. But, when it comes to hobbies, interestingly, one of my great loves is film. And I don't often get to watch films if I am just in my regular routine. But the chance that I have to watch films and catch up on interesting ones is when I'm traveling and if I'm on a long flight. And actually, I'm a big fan of Japanese cinema as well. And
which one?
Loved watching. Well, I mean, I love, of course, more classical Japanese cinema like Yasujiro Ozu's films and Kurosawa, of course. But even more recent directors like Koreeda, and it's a really wonderful tradition. And one that I have always very much enjoyed. So, and of course, the kind of approach to setting the scene has been really an inspiration. And I remember when I was in Japan, I made an effort to see, for example, No Theater. Yes, which was very moving. The kind of ceremonial aspect of it and very carefully choreographed movements had such power and purity, and that is certainly something that has been an inspiration for my composing, even my playing. So yes, it's something that I have always kept in mind when approaching certain kinds of questions as a composer or even as a performer.
So who is like a favorite actor or actress?
Well, that's a difficult question. It's like with favorite pianists, classical ones, that have passed away or current ones. It really depends on the genre, I suppose, and which kind of directors we're talking about. I mean, my favorite director of all time is probably Wong Kar-wai. Out of Hong Kong. Yes, many of the actors and actresses that are part of his canon are, of course, some of my favorite ones. Yes, I guess it really does depend. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll be a wonderful, even a producer for a film, because I think you can also even compose the music for the film. And I think your head is very well organized for like thinking about performing and producing the music, the expression. So I think you'll be a wonderful director of the film director too.
Well, it's kind of you to say that. I would, of course, love to have that kind of experience, but I often feel in my life that I have many hats and I don't have enough heads. So I have, I have many things that I am doing as a performer, a pedagogue, a teacher, a composer, someone who is doing a lot of different projects. And I wish I could do even more because my interests are very broad. I don't know if I will ever have the time and space to work on that side of the filming process, but who knows? I mean, it certainly could be an interesting experience. And I do think that, when you think about performing music as an interpreter, you do have to think of it as a director and not only as an actor. And I think this actually can be a major question of our role as interpreters, because it's something that I find especially pianists have to be very careful about. Piano is one of the few instruments where it's very easy to stop listening to yourself, because of course, if you're a string player, the pure physical sensation of your finger on the fingerboard is not enough for you to know that you are playing in tune. You have to listen to make sure that you're playing in tune. It's the same with a brass player. It's the same with a singer. But on the piano, it's very easy for us, purely from the tactile response of our fingers on the keys, to know that we're playing the right notes. So I often find, let's say, and it's something I speak about a lot with my students, that it's very easy for us to shut our ears off and get completely involved in the performing process and be really in the middle of the storm, in the eye of the storm, but not really controlling what we are producing. So we have to have a lot of distance as well from the process. We should be immersed, but also have enough perspective to make sure that we are controlling the product that we are creating for the listener, because the person that should be having the peak experience is the listener, not so much us. We are the vessel for the music. So it's almost like we have to be film directors as well. We can be the performer, the actor in the middle of it, but we also have to have a part of our mind that is the director, that is behind the camera, that is checking that everything is in order, that is making sure that is what is happening is what we want to have happen, and not simply a product of our emotions and our immersion in the process without enough perspective. So this question of being a director, I think if I will never be an actual film director, having that kind of mindset as a performer is definitely very useful.
And how about what's your favorite food in New York? I'm sure there's so many restaurants. What's your favorite dish? Italian, French, or Japanese? Or what kind of food do you like?
Well, I do love Italian food. I have a fantastic Italian restaurant in my building. Actually, yes, in my building they make handmade pasta, which is wonderful.
Lucky you.
And which I am very lucky. And of course, I love Japanese food very much. And when I was in Japan, I tried to taste every kind of ramen that I could. I very much love ramen, but the whole range of Japanese food, of course. And I actually was a big fan of. I love mochi very much. And one thing that I really
what kind of show you?
No, the sweet mochi I like very much, but one particular kind in Japan that I fell in love with because it was very special was warabi mochi. So made of this kind of fern bark, and because I really love this very chewy texture, I'm very interested in this kind of consistency. So I remember I brought a lot of it from Japan and gave it to all my friends to try this very, very interesting thing.
Oh, interesting.
I live in a wonderful neighborhood in New York for food, and interestingly enough, one block from my apartment there is a fantastic Georgian restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So I take many of my friends there as well to try and discover Georgian food. Georgian food has become very popular in New York. Many restaurants have opened now. And yes, maybe one of my favorite Georgian dishes is called khinkali, which is like the Georgian version of a soup dumpling. It's very big and has a lot of broth in it. And it's especially during the winter time, it's a very soul warming thing to have. Yes.
Do you cook too?
Yes, I do cook. And of course, I don't have so much time for it, but I usually cook for myself quite often and have a well set up kitchen. So it's certainly something that I enjoy doing when possible. Yeah.
And one last question. Your favorite concerto to perform, which one is it?
That's a difficult question. Yes. I mean, it changes. Let's say Brahms 2 is a concerto that has been very dear to my heart for a long time. So that's, of course, been one of my favorite concerti to perform. But for example, recently I just played Ravel's Concerto for the Left Hand, which was just such a moving experience because somehow the story of the piece, this sense of overcoming difficulties and triumphing against fate somehow is reflected so powerfully in the piece, not only musically but physically as well. And it was very interesting to perform just with one hand. It wasn't the first time I performed with one hand. I mean, I've also performed the Korngold Suite for left hand and strings. So that was kind of already an interesting experience, but I think for the Ravel, it was so unusual, and somehow the fact that you couldn't use your right hand gave it this extra layer of struggle and power. So it was certainly a very emotional experience to have played this several times in the last month. It's a piece I added recently to my repertoire, and it's something I definitely look forward to performing again soon.
Okay, so I hope to see you very soon in Japan. And so you can enjoy the kuzumochi next time again.
Yes.
Warabi-mochi.
Fantastic. Thank you for the invitation and for the conversation. And yeah,
thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Yes,
I hope to listen to your performance in Japan again.
Likewise, I hope to meet you soon and all the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.